Alright, so I just want to preface this with the fact that I don't actually really know what I'm doing. I'm just using a little bit of my economics knowledge and my bare minimum stock knowledge to do this based on what the internet and some resources have told me. So it's likely that I'm doing stuff wrong and that this is actually just going to waste a lot of money. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Take it with a grain of salt. And also, if you know more than I do, tell me what to do. Teach me your ways, and I'll be ever grateful. So, yeah, with that in mind, enjoy. All right, so here we are. First project we're gonna be tackling is kind of like I guess, I'm not good enough to make like a real time stock trading, like day trading bot. But I think this is a good way to spend my money anyway. Maybe a better way, but value investing. So the idea is that you can create a cash flow to predict the future worth of a stock or something, and then compare it to what it's worth, like what it's valued at now, kind of. Or like you can pretty much predict the future worth of a stock, discount it back, see what that like predicted value is, and then compare it to what it's actually trading at. And then you can kind of see if it's a valuable stock. So, if the calculated value is larger than the current stock price, maybe look at it. So this is just going to be doing that. Hopefully this will be part of a larger project. Can't promise anything, but we'll see where it goes. But the idea might be like to maximize the return or minimize the risk or something. That can get into some cool linear programming stuff. So right now we're just in Python though, so I'm a little rusty, so bear with me, but I was going to make a whole video rewriting the code I just wrote, and then I realized why do that? No one wants to see that anyway, so I'm just going to go over it, pretty much like 4 steps to kind of complete the project. The first step we're going over is just formatting the input so it's manageable. So I've been using it's like a TD Ameritrade screener, I think it's called. You can pretty much just like input different criteria you're looking for in a stock, then it'll output the stock, and you can actually choose even like what values it outputs, so it makes it really easy. You can just make an array of, or like a table of all the different stocks and the information that you want, and then just copy and paste it. But it gives us this really ugly format. So I think that this is the format kind of, it's just separated by spaces. It's got all this like extra like stuff like buy and sell. Sometimes I think this is the beta here, but the beta is like just nothing, it doesn't really make any sense because sometimes stocks don't have even beta associated with them, I guess. So pretty much like this file reader here is gonna take in that ugly list and format into a manageable CSV. This is like some good basic Python stuff. I don't even think I have to import like a file like or anything. I'm pretty sure it's just built into Python. It's kind of sweet. But so here we go. So first step, format it so it's manageable. That's what this first I guess function does. But so yeah, so pretty much what this is gonna do. Got a lot of like pretty much. I didn't want to throw any errors or anything, so I just did a bunch of tries because like if it doesn't work, I don't really care. I'll just discount it because I can't calculate the values I'm looking for without the beta, or without like any of the information. So all these like tries are just like if it doesn't have a piece of information, it can't like do what it's trying to do. Just skip it. Doesn't really matter. So basically, let's see here. So we got a file name. We're opening it to read it. We're gonna yeah, so we're not, I don't know why I didn't read the lines, but I guess it doesn't matter because I split it by this anyway. So pretty much I could have done like fp.read lines or something. But now we're looking through the contents, which is all the different lines, and we're gonna actually be splitting those by the spaces because if you can see in our in this thing, all the values are separated by spaces. So this T will do it here, and then we're pretty much just trying out shit. So let's see. I think that the initial stuff will have like a positive, so we're gonna turn these here are gonna turn into floats. So we don't want like this plus here. The minus is actually alright. Some of them have like a negative beta that's kind of uncommon, but that's fine. But this positive here's got to go. So for here, if it's got this plus as like the first character indexed in the string, see Python's just nice. You can do shit like this, but yeah. So if it's got like the first character index is this plus, we're just pretty much just taking it out. That's what this here does. If it doesn't have the plus, sometimes they don't. Sometimes like I don't know, it's just not always consistent data. So we're just gonna skip it if it doesn't have that. Then we're gonna so then for this, let's see what are we doing here. Oh yeah, so we're we got to turn them into floats now. So I think that there's probably a way better way to do this, but like I said, works and whatever. Like it's not one of those things that has to be super efficient, I guess. But so what are we doing here? Oh yeah, so now the next value. So we're saying this is going to be for the beta value. I actually should have put some comments in here, but so this, I think that in my information here, I got stock name, the beta, the price to earnings ratio, which you need to use to calculate the value of it, and then the actual price per share. So you might be wondering where's the earnings per share, which is also needed, but you can actually calculate that using the price to earnings ratio and the price per share. If you just do some unit, like if you, what is it there, price per earnings divided by no, it's price per share divided by price per earnings or something, you'll get earnings per share. The shit will cancel out. But so yeah, pretty much we're gonna use these to calculate the earnings per share. Yeah, just for whatever reason, and they're usually pretty close to the one that they give on TD Ameritrade is actually a little different sometimes by like a little bit, which we'll have to take into account with our risk. But hey, it's really general because that's what this whole investment scheme is. It's kind of like, it's not a scheme, but like the whole plan is like a really general like idea of what's going to happen, and just know the safety margin or like the risk associated with it, and plan accordingly. So I mean, I'll take whatever estimate I can get. I could really go and like look up all of the earnings per shares for each one of these, but that is a waste of time. So this will get a good enough estimate. I don't know why they don't just output the earnings per share as one of the criteria, but they don't. So we'll get that later. But so here we're just making it like, let's see. So after we're pretty much like turning them all into like the format that we want them to be. So this second value, what did I say that was? That was just the price to earnings ratio or whatever. That's what we're turning that into a float. So right now it's a string. With this is going to be the current price. So actually, I think that, yeah, we're doing it from 1 on here. So see, in the potential stocks, the cost or the price per share right now has this dollar sign on it. We don't want that because we're turning it into a float. So we take that off and turn it into a float. It's really just a kind of formatting. I know a lot of people use like pandas or something, and I should really learn how to do it, but I don't know how to use that stuff yet. So this works fine for now. But yeah, so now we're gonna make a new file that we're gonna I call it total info, so I haven't showed you it yet, but it's gonna be the formatted version of all the info. So that's what this W is, to write a new one, and then we're just pretty much writing all the contents of our what's called of our old file, like of contents, you know. So we're just making new lines and make it a CSV. So in between each one is gonna have a comma, but if it's the last index of that line, it won't have a comma after it. It'll just have a new line. So that's kind of what this is doing. And then it's going to close the file, and then I just compile it. So it's just to do it. So we're using that regular data because I see I've got it doing potentials.txt. That's this thing here. So we're just going to run it, and then we'll check it out. So it should have popped some new info, and there we go. So now it's all pretty. It's still got the betas that are like strings or whatever, but those will be accounted for later. So yeah, I'm gonna make that part 1. I hope you thought it was useful. Part 2, we'll just finish this thing up and get it working. Yeah, so I guess check out part 2 if you want. If you thought it was helpful, feel free to like it. And I will see you in the next video.